Good morning, good morning. My name is Rick Noda, the founder of T3 Body, and your host today for T3 Talks, where we tighten, tactical, and transition. Well, here in Studio B, we have some guests with us. We got a nice studio audience. Yay! Great job. Oh, my God, they do like me. All right, well, you guys, this week we're talking about change. Now, in my previous videos, we talked about that first change. Yeah, I'm a little bald-headed. I'm a little bit lighter on the eyes here today. All right, and the second part we talked about was that social change, that change of people that we're cutting out of our lives, people that dominate our time, that don't allow us to get to our goals. Sometimes that's because you've made a life change. Maybe, if you take dairy out of your diet, you're not losing any friends over that because you don't have any like cheese hamburgers. But if you do something like myself where you reduce your alcohol intake and you're really not having your drinking buddies, you may lose some of your friends. And it bothers me that some of those friends were my Marine buddies. But I know that if I do need those guys, I should be able to call them and they will forget about that part. So the last part about this is change and how change has affected me in my life and what change has done for me in a positive way. Now, you guys know that when I grew up in Chicago, my father was a Cuban immigrant that actually came to this country when he was 13 years old with the clothes on his back. So I was raised with what you call a survivor mentality. Basically, my dad constantly threw me into things to make me fail, but to experience, change in environment. So, just to give you an example, I joke around, is that my brother went to 7 different schools. Yeah, 7 different high schools and 7 schools. So you want to talk about being the new kid in school every year? My brother did it 7 times. And I think we started in 5th grade, and it was like 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade. My brother was always that new kid. So that's always a change, for sometimes for the good and sometimes for the bad. Sometimes those schools my brother would go to were really good, but he was over it. You know what I'm saying? You change 4 or 5 times, you're over it. You know the gamut. You know how to get through the system. The other thing that my father did a big thing about change is that my dad was a little bit like me. He was a little bit hyper bipolar, so you never knew what he was going to have and what mood he was going to be in, So you guys know I come from an abused household. My family, punched you first and asked questions second, so it was kind of one of those things until you couldn't. When you held your dad's hand and say, no more, no mas, that was another change from the abuse to stop. So when you come from an abusive background and you then yourself go into alcoholism and you start to do all this stuff, what do you do with change? Can you embrace change? Well, I do, because since I've been raised my entire life, have it be my brother going to schools or my dad constantly changing that bipolar environment, all right, I have learned to make the glass half full. Like, if something happens and it changes, I'm going to always find that positive in that. I'll give you an example of positive change in a bad environment, all right? I had been out with some accounts when I was in the mortgage wholesaling business, and I was having a typical great time that you start with a bunch of Belvedere, you finish off with some tequila shots, and then after that, you literally pour yourself into a cab or an Uber and you get yourself home. Well, I got myself home. I had to take a cab back to my car. I go get in my car. I go to see my grandmother, and my grandmother goes to me. She goes, "You look like SHIT." And I felt like it too. She goes, "Here's a drink for you." Now, it was a carrot drink, you guys, and that carrot drink, you guys, looked like it had been in the heat a little bit, and I was too out of it to really care, and it was kind of fermented, it was kind of like bulged at. And I just needed something to drink. My head was pounding. And I go to open it. And let me move the mic for a second. That's exactly what happens. I open it up and it explodes all over me. All right. I am 5 minutes away or about 10 minutes away to do a presentation for a new account. So literally, you guys, I'm completely covered in carrot juice, orange carrot juice. All right. My head is pounding. I'm sweating. It's in Chicago. It's probably 110 degrees with the humidity. All right. I had a brand new 330 BMW with tan interior that there's orange everywhere. All right. So now I'm mad on top of it. And I see a Banana Republic. I walk right into I pull in, go to Banana Republic. I'm literally taking my shirt off as I'm walking in. I pull out a shirt. I pull out a pair of trousers. I go ahead. I go to the Banana Republic. I literally take the clothes I have in a bag that I took the tags off. I gave the lady the tags, went in there, bought the clothing, drove right up to my appointment. Never missed a beat. Never missed a beat. Made it on time to my appointment. I smelled a little bit like a carrot juice. I'm not going to lie, because there was some carrot stuff around me that I couldn't probably clean up. But I made the presentation without even thinking about it. So with most people, that would have changed their entire day. That would have literally, they would have not done the appointment, or their presentation would have been, you know what just happened to me? But the thing that I found in it, the thing that made me laugh about it, was I was so hungover, you guys, that it was so bad that I had to laugh at myself. That was why I just found it so funny, because I literally said, even in my worst case scenario, under the weather, not feeling great, I still had the ability to have common sense and think. So imagine if I wasn't drinking, or if I didn't have that hangover, and I joke around, my operating system, how I'd be able to process. Go think about that. So now, as I'm clean and sober and retired from alcohol, my processing speed is exactly correct. I'm much more creative. If that same thing would happen again today, I would have probably bought shoes, you guys. I would have probably been able to clean my car and get clothes and maybe buy lunch for that group, because you know what? I wasn't so with all of the other exterior things. So how do you get better at change, you guys, is literally embracing the change that, whatever change that comes, but you know what? Challenging yourself to change. Now, again, in the previous podcast, I called out the homework, and I hope everybody's doing it. If you're a guy that's got hair and you want to fade it up a little bit tighter than you normally do, go ahead and make that change. I like it if it's what we call skin tight, because you get a little bacon there. You kind of remind yourself kind of what you're about and what that change can do. For my ladies out there, here's a change I want you to do. You are beautiful the way you are. Let me say that again. You are beautiful the way you are. And I often say that makeup has a tendency to want to maybe hide that exterior. You know what? Your homework is no makeup, a little lip gloss or something like that if you want. But I love it from us ladies is to just embrace the beauty that you're currently in. And that change is one that your skin will love me for later. No, you don't need the makeup. You just need that beautiful personality coming out. And that, my friends, you guys, is your homework that I want you to try. Not for one day, not for 2 days, literally for 4 weeks. That's usually, if you get a haircut, it usually lasts you about 3 to 4 weeks. So that's a nice reminder. Guys, when you're in the mirror and you're looking at that nice haircut, it's to remind you to stay on that path, to have the discipline of keeping up that momentum of changing, whatever it has to be. Remember, it doesn't have to be diet. It doesn't have to be nutrition. It could be just something in your life. My previous podcast, I told myself I changed the way I wanted to remember people's names because I wanted to be a little bit more compassionate. For the ladies, the last thing is, again, when you're not wearing makeup, don't say, oh my God, don't look at me, I'm not wearing. Embrace the change. I'm going to tell you right here, when you were 10 years old, you're 11 years old, and you're 12 years old, you didn't put makeup on, no one really cared. When you're 21, 32, 58, or me, 48 years old, no one really cares. What really cares about is that beautiful personality that comes out, the change in your voice tone, that confidence that comes out, and that really inspires you to be better, you guys. So I'm going to tell you guys, it's been a great week of talking about change. I hope you embrace and love my bald head, you guys. It's going to stay around for a little bit. I went ahead and bought some razors and some stuff, so it's going to be here for at least probably until maybe about a month or two before the Grit Awards. I usually grow my hair out a little bit for the Grit Awards in November, so I look a little bit more, what I'd say, stylish for those pictures, So you guys, when I say our motivation inspires you to be better, embrace the change. I'll see you guys next week. T3 Body, you guys, is a company and a fitness company that really talks about the complete athlete. When I talk about our motivation inspires you to be better, all right, as a non-for-profit that supports military veterans that suffer from mental health issues, I really enjoy the support you guys are giving me here on YouTube. But again, I am seeking clients on my T3 Body. So if you go ahead and take a look at my website, understand that the intimacy of getting to know you starts with just 30 minutes of motivation. So you go on there, you sign up for one of those, you get a one-on-one remote talk with me just like this. Then I encourage you to go and look at one of my training plans, download a 4 to 8 week training plan, and really kind of just test your body, test yourself, and just really start to get yourself ready to then do the next thing, is where you get 4 or 5 of your friends together and dare yourself to be better, where there you have a little bit more of my information along with my training plan. You get some remote sessions with me regardless of where you're at. You notice if you're watching me on YouTube right now, you could see you can hear my voice, and I can train you, all right? And that 45-day dare is a great way to just see and challenge yourself to really do the final thing, is become a member. Being a member with me is a commitment, and it's made for just an elite amount of people. So when I talk about membership here, I really talk about a really elite group of individuals who really understand our core values of God, country, family, and really live by and have really adopted where our motivation inspires them to be better. So I wanted to touch on that, you guys, and really use that so that individuals like yourself who are getting better and inspiring others that understand that, you know what, we do need your support to keep everything going.